Pause YouTube, 6ftHax here. Happy guys today, pretty fun, good PU Wi-Fi battle head against Argon657. I think at this point, most of you guys should know who Argon is because I think I've uploaded like 6 or 7 battles against him. But his channel link and stuff are going to be down below. Of course, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer that like button down below. Now, I am using the same team that I used yesterday. I hope you guys don't mind. Also, hope you guys don't mind all the PU Wi-Fi battles I've been uploading as of lately. I know I kind of threw like one OU battle in here and there, but I do plan to do higher tiers, so don't worry about that. It's just really been enjoying PU right now. So going into this matchup, the combination of Guzzlord and Sock is actually kind of terrifying because they make a really good offensive core, so I definitely have to watch out for that. Speaking of Guzzlord, he of course ends up leading off with the monster that is most likely Choice Specs Guzzlord. Now, unless he's Scarfed, there's no way he's going to be able to outspeed me here, so I knew I was pretty safe in just going for a U-turn. The only problem is that I don't exactly have a good switch into a Draco Meteor coming from this Guzzlord, and Argon knows that, so he's going to go for a turn 1. Now, the good thing about him actually having Draco Meteor is that if it gets to about mid to late game and he does go for Draco, I can maybe bring in my Klinklang to set up, because it looks like Klinklang can definitely win late game, and that was the whole idea of this team, was that it was based around Klinklang. So much like Mesprit, I should be able to outspeed the Guzzlord with my Hitmonchan, and because his only real switch in to my Hitmonchan is the Golurk, what I'm going to do is actually go straight for the Ice Punch, and unless he is Jolly, there's no way he's going to be able to outspeed me, so I'm able to 2-hit KO the Golurk. I keep thinking of Guzzlord, then it's Golurk that comes to mind, because I don't know, I guess they both start with G's, but actually a Guzzlord, Golurk, they kind of sound the same. So he ends up bringing in the Unpheasant. Now, I haven't seen a single Unpheasant in PU since like 5th or 6th gen, so I'm expecting him to either just want to go straight for the Aerial Ace return or the U-turn, but he actually ends up going for the Quick Attack, maybe thinking that I would just try to Mach Punch with my Hitmonchan, so that wasn't entirely too bad of a play to him. For him to have made there, as he then switches directly into the Guzzlord on my Lara Spikes. In hindsight, I could have probably gone for the Thunder Wave instead of getting up the Lara Spikes, considering that he does have Skuntank on his team, and typically Skuntank is known for carrying Defog, as he can now go for a free move. He actually predicts me to bring in my Klinklang as I hard switch directly into Jericho, and because Jericho is the GOAT, I do skillfully dodge the Fire Blast. Now, Fire Blast only would have done about 35-ish% because I am a very bulky variant of Silvally, so I'm just going to go ahead and Ice Beam here on the off chance that maybe he wanted to stay in or try to switch directly into his Unpheasant, but he does make the safer play by bringing in his Milk Tank, and I can literally not do anything to Milk Tank. Like, having a Toxic on this Silvally actually would have been really nice, because I could have potentially Toxic the Milk Tank. So I'm gonna Parting Shot into my Scyther in hopes that 1, he doesn't paralyze me, and 2, I can knock off this thing's leftovers, because if I'm able to get rid of the leftovers on this Milk Tank, it's gonna make dealing with this thing 10 times easier, because it's not going to be gaining that little bit of recovery every single turn. So I do just end up making a safe knockoff play here, as he actually hard switches directly into a Skuntank, maybe scouting out for that, or just expecting me to go for a U-turn, and then that way he could potentially defog for free with the Skuntank. But because I am Scarfed locked into knockoff, I do have to switch on directly out of here into my Silvally Ground, which should be able to deal with the Skuntank accordingly, as he does just end up making the safe play by going for the defog, which is not a bad play for him to have made at all, because obviously he doesn't want to take that extra chip damage every time he's going to be switching in and out. And funny enough, I actually misclicked on Parting Shot here. What I originally wanted to do was go for the Ice Beam, because much like earlier, I thought that maybe he was going to try to bring in Unpheasant on a multi-attack, so that way I could get off a little bit of damage on the Unpheasant. But here the misclick actually does kind of help me out, because I can switch out directly from this Milk Tank instead of having to waste that extra turn and then him potentially paralyzing something with the Body Slam. So I do Parting Shot into my Mesprit, and what I'm going to do is actually get on my Stealth Rocks here, because if I can just consistently get on my hazards every time that Skuntank is going to be coming in, it's going to be taking that chip damage, and he's going to be wasting that 1 turn to defog, which I can then take advantage of that turn. So that's why I did go for my rocks here. Also, like I said, it does force him to bring in the Skuntank, but if he doesn't want to defog automatically, then the rest of his team is going to be taking little bits of chip damage here and there, making it easier for my Klinklang to potentially sweep late game if I can put myself in that position. So he ends up going for the Dark Pulse, only does about 40%, so yeah, Fire Blast only would have done about 30-35% there, I'm pretty sure, as I do go for the multi-attack this time, expecting him to either want to switch directly into the Milk Tank or maybe the Skuntank, although more than likely it would have been the Milk Tank, because at this point he probably knows I cannot do anything to this Milk Tank. So I'm gonna go ahead, a parting shot on out of here into my Quillfish, because this is really the best thing I have to take a body slam, and the only real thing I want to get paralyzed. Like, I risked Scyther earlier, knowing my luck, I'm probably going to get paralyzed this time. Another good thing is that I can also still apply pressure to him with my Quillfish by getting up a layer of spikes, or potentially going for a Thunder Wave on his hard switch into whatever he wants to switch in to my Quillfish, whether it be the Guzzlord or the Skuntank. Paralyzing one of those two is going to be really good for me, because that makes them slower, and then from there I can potentially get a full paralysis. But expecting him to make one of those two plays and not staying with the Milk Tank, knowing that he can't touch me, I'm actually going to pull a double switch into my Scyther, as I'm going to be able to go for the U-turn here. He does just barely live, which is a little bit annoying, and I guess in hindsight I could have definitely gone for the Bug Bite. Like, that probably would have been my better play to do in this scenario, because honestly, as long as he's got Milk Tank, my Scyther does literally nothing in this game. And then I make another really questionable play here, and I go straight for the multi-attack. For some reason, I was thinking in my mind, hey, this isn't going to do direct contact, but no, you literally scratch him with Silvally's claws. So that was dumb on my part, because now I take the aftermath damage, and this is where him missing Fire Blast might have mattered, because I was able to finish him off with Silvally, and then it turns out that I'm faster than his Unpheasant. Funny enough, this Silvally only reaches 310 speed, while Jolly max speed on Pheasant reaches 313 speed, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, if he was Jolly, he would have outsped me by 4 points, because, not 3 points, sorry. I was thinking I was max speed, but if I was max speed, I would have outsped him if he was Jolly. Either way though, he's not Jolly, so he's probably adamant. And then he does make the good play in going for the U-turn on the off chance that he was faster than me, but because I brought in my Quillfish on his U-turn, he now brings in this giant terrifying monster that is Guzzlord, and I basically have to choose something to sack off. And because Jericho is at 1 HP, it's probably going to be my sack fodder. Now, let's say he had hit the Fire Blast earlier. Obviously, I wouldn't have had Silvally right here, so my next sack would have been Scyther, because again, Scyther does literally nothing in this matchup so long as he has the Milk Tank. So I would have been able to sack off Scyther here and then still get this free switch into my Hitmonchan, which he has no safe switch into Hitmonchan. Even if he wants to bring in the Unpheasant, it's still gonna get smacked around with a Adamant Stabbed Drain Punch. Although I'm not max attack, I do still have a lot of attack EVs to do damage to him. So he ends up bringing in the Sock here, and it turns out that his Sock is actually sturdy because he didn't activate his Mold Breaker, so that's a little bit annoying, but I do still have a pretty safe switch in to this in the form of Defense and Mesper. And can I just say that that close combat did entirely too much damage, ladies and gentlemen. Sock is absurd, man. This thing hits insanely hard. If he had gone for the knockoff there, that would have done easily like 40-50% to my Mesprit, even through the Colbur Berry, which is kind of crazy. So I am going to take this chance to get on my rocks, because now I can break the sturdy on the Sock. And as he brings in the Unpheasant, I'm just going to switch directly into my Quillfish, because this is really the only thing that I have to safely take an attack from this monster. And judging for how much damage that return did, I should be able to live 2 more, and then from there I can hopefully get up a layer of spikes and potentially Thunder Wave this Unpheasant. But I do get fully paralyzed here, and then he also gets a much higher damage roll with that second return. Although it's not game changing at the time, was a little bit annoying, but I'm pretty sure the Fire Blast miss for him was annoying. Yeah, either way though, neither of those two hacks I think really mattered in this matchup, as I can now get a free switch into my Klinklang here. Normally, Klinklang can't do much to Milk Tank at +1 attack, but this Klinklang has a little trick up his sleeve, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something right now. So I do end up going for the shift gear. Very positive that he's locked in to the return, because it looks like he most likely is a bandit as opposed to a scarf set, because again, he wasn't able to outspeed my Silvally. So what this allows me to do is get a free shift gear as he brings in the Milk Tank the following turn. I'm going to pull out that little trick, and reveal to him that I have the Z move for steel types, which is Corkscrew Crash, making Gear Grind absurdly powerful and probably strong enough to knock out this Milk Tank. I think if it was like max defense, max HP, it was actually a roll, but I don't know if it was max defense, max HP, because some Milk Tanks do tend to run a Spadef bulky set. Either way though, I just annihilate the Milk Tank as in comes a Sock. So long as I don't miss Gear Grind here, I should be able to knock him out, and thanks to the Stealth Rocks, it's definitely going to be in range of where Gear Grind can knock him out. I think without Rocks, it would have been a roll on whether or not I finished them off. Either way though, down goes a Sock at this point. His last Pokemon is going to be the Unpheasant, which if I am not able to do enough damage to this thing, it may actually win, I think, because Mach Punch doesn't knock him out. He can smack around my Mesprit, and as you can see, this return does almost 50. That's actually kind of crazy how much damage that stab return did, considering that I'm a steel type and I resist that apparently. I forgot what my last mon. What was my last mon? Hold on, let's see. Scyther, yeah, and I had Scyther in the back. Actually, maybe Scyther could have won. Either way, though, I'm able to pull out the victory. So, yeah, good, fun game to Argon there. Again, this channel link and stuff are going to be down below. If you guys may have missed it, I did upload the team building video for week 5 of Pokemon Full Glory Season 2. So, a link to that will also be down in the description. And then tomorrow will be the actual P4G week 5 match and episode 4, I believe, of the Pokemon Platinum Soul Link. So, with that being said, guys, see you all tomorrow. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.